Hi guys, welcome back. And also happy Sunday. So welcome back. Today we're going to be discussing about the Q1 FY24 results of Anup Engineering. I will just be giving you a crux of what has happened this quarter in the investor presentation, what the management has told in the IP and the con call. That's it. If you want to understand the business model and everything in detail, please refer to my Q4 FY23 video, what I've done, right? If you're new and if you don't know what Anup Engineering does, then I think that would really help, right? So coming right now, let us just first talk about Anup Engineering. So what does Anup Engineering does? Anup Engineering does, heat exchangers. And these heat exchangers are used in all kind of your manufacturing and chemical industries. Basically, if you have two liquids and they are at different temperatures and you have to heat it, right? This is where the whole heat exchangers comes into play, right? That's that about the business model. And if you see the heat exchangers that are there, they contribute to the major part of the revenue, around 75 to 70 to 76% of the revenue. To be precise, around 75% comes from heat exchangers. And then they have these big vessels that contribute around 11%, and containers around contributing the same 8 to 10%. But the majority, right, other than vessels and columns, the majority still comes today from the heat exchangers itself, right? If you have to go back, one thing to highlight here is the QOQ. The QOQ results can be very choppy because as there is a lot of seasonality aspect involved here, right? Not just the seasonality aspect, certain times the order book might not get executed on time, right? These are the two reasons. But if you see, the management has been really walking the talk. If you see the previous con calls, the management, has understood, market looks at the end of the day from quarter on quarter basis also, not just on a year on year basis, right? And they've understood, this and they've been trying to deliver a very stable quarter on quarter result also, right? They've been focusing on, to cut down the seasonality and the choppiness or the volatility that comes in the top line because of this. They've been trying to, like as much as to reduce that. If you see, you can literally see that even, being reflected in terms of result. Not just that, in spite of it being a very lean quarter, this quarter, right? Q1 and Q2 are usually very lean quarter. In spite of this, you can see for the last 4 consecutive quarters, this company has been clocking in, 100 crores of revenue every quarter. Absolutely great set of numbers. So if you have to see the the Q1 FY24 results on a year-on-year basis, the revenue has grown by 140% and the PAT has been grown by 259%. So you can see a good amount of operating leverage also come into play. Not only that, the margins that are there, even that has expanded from 18.2 to 22.4%, right? So all in all, a great set of numbers. Even in terms of like QOQ, if you see, the quarter-on-quarter top line also has reduced hardly by 13%, and the PAT also has fallen down by 5%, because if you see the previous quarters, right? If you see the QOQ comparison between the last quarters, that is Q1 FY23 and Q1 FY22, like, when you see that year, financial year, you do the year on year and the QOQ comparison, the volatility in top line has fallen really, really low. The gap is hardly anything, right? I think earlier, if you see the QOQ difference would be by 20-30%, and now it is hardly 13%. So the management is really keeping up. In terms of, talking about your revenue change, the mix, if you see, that hasn't changed a lot. Even still now, even in Q1 also, if you see the product mix, right? The product mix has remained the same. Still, you can see the heat exchangers contributing the major part of revenue, around 75 to 76%, right? So not a lot has changed over there. Even in terms of the industry that they're catering to, right? They cater to all this heavy industry, heavy capital intensive industry such as petrochemicals, oil and gas. Even if you see as of Q1 also, 85% of the revenue is still coming from these industries only. So there has been a lot of changes, right, as we speak. The only thing that, you can see is that the production, the Keda facility that is there, right? Like I've been talking about this even in my previous videos also with Anup Engineering. The Keda facility, they've started the capex for Keda facility and it's supposed to be commissioned by next quarter, right? By Q2, you have to see the plant being commissioned and start producing and manufacturing the vessels. That is right on track. By Q2, it will be commissioned and it should contribute or add to the top line around 50 to 60 crores, and that is right on track. And of course, right, since it is a new manufacturing plant, it will take 2 to 3 years to break even, and at least 2 years for the to achieve that 100% capacity utilization. But having said that, the Keda plant is right on track. And not just that, with Keda plant, the vessel and the column contribution that is said will go up. The vessel and column contribution, it should go up by hardly right now it contributes, I think, 11 to 10%. But having said that, it will be up by 21 to 25% as the Keda facility will be up and running, right? So that's that. And if you see, also even in terms of in terms of demand also, like I keep talking about any manufacturing videos, they are seeing a lot of tailwinds. That is why they've been doing this capex also, because the existing plants that are there, they're not able to cater to the demand. That is why the Keda facility plant has come up, not just in domestic, also they're seeing it even in export. Because as of now, if you see, 15% comes from export, 15 to 19% comes from export, and domestic comes around the rest of the book, right, around 80%. But in this year, they want to take that 15 to 20% of the export book to 30%. And this is evident, right, because we have seen so many things in favor of India, right? So as a result, you're going this is also like not too hard for them, because over the years, the export book you've seen been increasing only. That's one thing. Now coming back to the other thing, is the last thing I want to highlight here is in terms of the in terms of their order book. If you see, as of Q1, the order book is 650 crores, right? And out of the 650 crores, 125 crores is already achieved, already clocked in, right? And the rest, that is at 520 to 530 crores, or that they want to achieve it by this year. That is by FY24 they want to achieve. And maybe 20, maybe because like I told you, the project deadlines of the order book is there, but certain times there might be certain changes in the execution, right? Maybe material problem or supply chain or logistic problem because of that. But having said that, maybe 20 to 25% of this order book will get executed by next year. Now, this is a maybe factor, not completely, right? Having said that, they're very, very confident that 520 to 530 crore, they will try to achieve it. They will try to clock in that revenue by FY24. And out of this 520 crores that is there, 240 crores that is there, out of this 520 crores, so 240 crores that is there, is a new order book, and they want to take it to about 600 crores in next 1 year or so. The new order book that is there from 240 crores. Having said that, there aren't a lot of things to talk here. Having said that, the update has been great. The only thing to watch here is, of course, the Keda plant, the commission that is yet to come. That is going on well. You're seeing that the order book is also very stable, and it is increasing as we talk also. The other thing, if you see, even in terms of customer addition, see, its customer addition here is a little bit is little bit of a long shot, because you're making something like a heat exchanger, right? And it is used in high and heavy capital intensive industry. It is not easy to gain a customer, a customer. It takes somewhere between 6 months to 2 years also at times, right? Because even the project implementation also will take that long. Having said that, in spite of that, they've added 3 new customers, Graham, Indorama, and ITT, right? All these new customers also they've added, right? And one of the added advantages is also the fact that, they make this thicker heat exchanger. So the thicker the heat exchanger is, more material is used, right? And higher the margin here it is. And there are hardly 2 or 3 players in India that does it, including Anup Engineering. So again, the more the order they get in this segment, the better it is, right? That's that to cover about Anup Engineering. Like I told you, the company has been consistently talking about delivering, 25 to 30% of top line, while maintaining an EBIT of 22%. They want to maintain that. And if you see, even in this quarter, they've done that. If you see on a year-on-year basis, they've grown by 140%, whereas 25% ka guidance, and whereas 140%. I also understand this cannot be sustainable, but having said that, 25 to 30% is great, and their order book is just also a reflection of that. And they also, they guided to maintain a margin of 22%, right? An EBITDA margin of 22%. You can also see that, the EBITDA margin has increased from 18.6 to 22.2% or so, right? Yeah, 22.4%, even that is there. So all in all, a great set of results, nothing to complain about here. I think going by in the next quarter, all you have to see is, that the Kheda plant is commissioned, and what is the top line it is adding. Because they've been telling that the top line, the Kheda plant will add as of Q2, or, as of this year, would be 50 to 60 crores. So I think that is one thing to be guiding for, one thing to watch out for. And the second thing to watch out for is, out of this 520 to 530 crores, how much is again clocked in? Because in that 651 crore, the total book that was at 124 was already done, and 520 to 530 is left after Q1, right? So how much of that has been clocked in terms of revenue? How much of that order book has been done? I think these are the 2 things to watch out for in the next quarter results. But having said that, absolutely stunning set of results, nothing to complain. And as you all know, the entire manufacture sector is booming, and the demand also remains to be quite great and quite stable as we talk, right? So yeah, that's it about Anup Engineering. I hope to see you again with another result update. Until then, yeah, goodbye. Take care.